Hello and welcome to Dave's Delightful Dishes. As always, I'm Dave and it is such a delight to have you here visiting me today in my kitchen. And today I've got a recipe that comes by request from a guy in Western Pennsylvania. Ben asked me if I could do something with wild game. And it is the fall and that's hunting season, so it's a good time. We're going to make some venison. Let's check it out. So today we're going to do a set and forget kind of chili using venison. So we're going to take these ingredients and we're going to make them into a nice crock pot chili. So first off, you have venison, which when you send the deer to the processor, when you get it back, it comes in a box and it's whatever you told them you wanted. In this case, this is a pound of ground venison. So you have a pound of meat, and we're going to work with that. And now you can do this recipe completely in the crock pot if you like. You can just drop everything in, stir it together, let it go on low for 7 to 8 hours, and it'll be lovely. But to bring out a little bit of extra flavor, what I'm going to do is I'm going to brown the meat and then cook some of the vegetables a little bit here in a cast iron skillet, and then transfer that in, and then put everything else in on top of it. So let's head over to the cooktop, and we're gonna brown some meat. Okay, so I've got a large cast iron skillet heating up on the stove, and I am adding. Now this is a bigger one, so a little bit more than a tablespoon, but enough oil to give it a quick coating. And if you look, I just cleaned my stove today, so everything is very neat. Those stove guards really are helping me out, especially since my wife decided to put some potato water all over everything. So I'm going to add 2 green bell peppers that have been chopped. The one was starting to change colors. Most of this stuff's out of my garden. 1 onion, same thing, kind of like a large dice. You don't want to go too small because you want to have some structure in the chili. And then this is a jalapeno. You can use hotter peppers if you want this super hot. You can use that not at all if you want it to be not as hot. You can control the chili how you want it to be. I like my chili hot, so for me, that's how it's going to be. Now we got to start letting this stuff sweat down a little bit. So get it mixed up, and we're going to let it work. Once these are sauteed down and it's looking translucent and the peppers have softened up a little bit, we're going to add the meat. Okay, now that these have had a chance to kind of sweat down a little bit, you don't want them all the way done because we still got to cook some other stuff in here. I'm going to take my venison and I'm going to break it up into chunks. And then we're going to start stirring that around and try to break it down, and we're going to brown it. And this is a pound. So you can scale that depending on however you want it to be for the number of people you're going to serve, but this is going to make a big pot of chili. So now we're going to get that down in, stir it up in, and just as it's cooking, we're going to keep on splitting it so that it's ground beef instead of just a couple of deer meatballs. No, ground deer. And you see that starting to brown already. A little bit, well, brown, the edges are. But you can see where it's going. So we're going to let this cook. I'll get back to you once it's ready to go into the crock pot. So as you can see, it has gotten into chunks, and it's browning up really nicely. We don't need to worry about fully cooking this through because it's going to be going into a crock pot for several hours. But you can also see there's just a little bit of fat rendering off. Now, deer's a really lean meat, so you want to keep all this. So we're not going to drain this when we're done. This is all going to end up in the chili. So this is now ready to go over to the crock pot. So we'll transfer it over, and I'll see you there. All right, this is going in. And I know I got the back of the pan to you, it's just I'm left-handed. Okay, so with that in there, now we have to just add the rest of the ingredients. So we have some black beans, come from a can. And all the ingredients will be in the description so you can get the volumes there. Now these, you won't find there. These are scarlet runner beans. I planted some jelly beans in my garden earlier in the year. They're really beautiful plant. They have red flowers, and I just harvested some. So instead of kidney beans, I'm going to put these in, and that is a little bit less than 15 ounces, but it's okay. You can over bean chili pretty easily, and this is going to bring an interesting color to it. About 5 cloves of garlic, minced, cumin, chili powder, paprika, pepper, Worcestershire sauce, get all that in there, and salt. And then we have 28 ounces of diced tomatoes in sauce, in their juice. 4 cups of beef or venison stock, if you can find it. But most people will probably be using beef stock unless you've got some deer bones that you're going to render down yourself. And the juice of an orange. Orange juice right here. I picked one that doesn't really have any seeds. Very few. Juice of a lime. Wow, that's a stiff lime. There we go. And then about 3 tablespoons of concentrated tomato paste. Now, for tablespoons, I'm going to eyeball this. Sometimes it's better to feel than to measure. But also, I like these tubes of tomato paste when I'm not going to have all that much. Because this is significantly less than one of those little jars. So now we got to give this all a big stir to get it all mixed together. And those jelly beans sure make me laugh. I love these scarlet runner beans. I'm going to grow them forever now. All right. So now this has to cook on high for 3 to 4 hours. I'm going to shoot for 4. If you wanted to do this on low, it would be 7 to 8 hours. All right, guys, we'll see you when we get done. And we're back. It's been 4 hours, and this has been working its way down, cooking up, and man, does it, my whole house smells just amazing. So if you look, it's still a little bit on the thinner side. If you wanted to thicken that up, and I might myself, but honestly, you either keep all the juices from the beans when you put them in from the can, which will help thicken them, or you can mash some of the beans up. That'll help thicken them. You could take some like some masa and mix that with water and make a slurry out of it and stir that in, and then let that cook for a little while, and that'll thicken it too. But I'm going to be serving this over rice, so it's thick enough. And as you can see, if I don't hit my tripod, so you can see it isn't just, it's not soup. It is a little thicker than that, but it's okay. And it smells good and it looks good. So we're going to take that over to final prep, and let's get the plate ready. Okay, so I like serving my chili over rice. So I've made some jasmine rice. You know, just prepare your rice however you like to. I use a rice maker. Works great for me. But whatever method you use, that'll be fine. And we're going to take a nice hearty spoonful of this chili. And another one with a lot of the juice. There we go. And then you now have chili and rice in bowl. And there's a lot of toppings that you can put on it as an afterwards. You can really tightly mince some red onion and sprinkle that on top. You can add sour cream, which in this case I will because my wife likes sour cream. Put a little dollop on that there. And then cheese is de rigueur. This is a Mexican 4 blend, but whatever cheddar or something like that is a good choice with chili. And we're going to get a big spot back on top there. And then if you ask me, you always got to have a little bit of cornbread. So I put the cornbread on the corner there. And if you can also put some Fritos or something like that on. Whatever ends up working for you. There, you know, it's your house, it's your food. No one's going to second guess you. But have a look. Isn't that delightful? And honestly, this was a pretty easy dish. It took us time, but it was leave it alone time. So you could set this up in the morning and come home at dinner time to a lovely dinner. So put it into your rotation, give it a shot. I got this venison at the store, so look around at yours. You might be able to get venison or bison or something else that's a little bit outside of the normal beef. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'd love to have you try it. And Ben, I hope that this meets your satisfaction. To everybody else and Ben, please keep on giving me those suggestions because those are what keep me filming. And you can find me at Dave's Delightful Dishes Facebook page, which will also be linked in the description, as well as my Instagram. Give me comments, give me suggestions, give me challenges. I'm up for all of them. And you can check out my Spreadshirt page, which has all of my merchandise. Check out those aprons. Look at my t-shirts. You know you want a picture of my face in your wardrobe. So anyhow, I hope you enjoyed it. I loved having you here, and I'll see you again at the next recipe.